Do you find yourself putting off, difficult tasks, or maybe they're not difficult, they're just really, really not, pleasurable to do, or they're just no fun at all? Well, I'm going to show you 3 tips that really helped me and others to actually do those difficult tasks or those boring tasks so that you can just knock them out and enjoy the rest of your time, right? So here we go. We'll break down into 3 changing tips that you can use to do any task that you find really boring or really difficult. Again, these are tasks that, you can do. It's just that you really don't like doing. So first up, we have the 10-minute rule. So the 10-minute rule is, it's an expansion of the 2-minute rule. We generally use the 2-minute rule when we say these tasks are, menial and, we kind of don't like them, but I mean, we tend to do them. I mean, the 2-minute rule could be applied to, cleaning your room. The 2-minute rule could be applied to, you know, eh, cleaning out the garbage or whatever it might be. The 10-minute rule is designed to get you into the momentum and also stay with that momentum. Hence the reason 10 minutes instead of 2 minutes, right? I mean, that seems pretty straightforward there. A lot of people like to pair this with music. Like, let's say that you don't know how long 10 minutes is, or you suffer from time blindness because, maybe you've got ADHD. One of the ways that you can time yourself without actually using a timer and not breaking the flow of work and, looking at a phone or a timer or a clock or anything like that is to, listen to a song. Now, I'll get to the second step in a moment, which can actually pair into this, which is, listen to some music that you like. You've heard the old adage, whistle while you work. Well, listen to a song to help you know that when the song is over, you know, you can stop working on that particular task, right? Now, ideally what's going to happen is that if you're listening to your favorite song and you get to the end of it and you realize you're almost done the task that you found difficult or not very fun to do, then you would just keep doing it and get it done. And that is where the 10-minute rule comes from. The next rule or the next little tip I have for you here is the reward loop. And that is to really pair up your challenging or, boring or not very fun tasks with some enjoyable rewards. Now, again, don't go crazy overboard here, people. This isn't going to work if you say, oh, I want $100, I want to give myself $100 Starbucks gift card if I, do 5 minutes of math. No, the reward should be something that you enjoy. It should be something that is attainable for you on a consistent basis, and it should be paired to the task by the weight of that task. So let me give you an example. So, I mean, I really don't like doing laundry. It takes me probably about 15, 20 minutes to fold and put stuff away sometimes. So what I'll do is I'll say, okay, if I do laundry for the entire week, I'll have, maybe my favorite dessert out at a restaurant on the weekend or something. Another example might be that if you do your math homework, I'm talking to the younger people here now. If you do your math homework every single day for the week, maybe on the weekend you get to play an extra 20 minutes of a video game, right? But again, you can't say that I'm going to do 5 minutes of math homework every day for the week and then spend, say, 3 hours playing video games. Okay, it doesn't really work that way because you're just going to get yourself into an escapism kind of loop, if that makes sense. And these rewards again, they can be tied into the point I mentioned previously with the 10-minute rule. Is you know if you only do those unpleasant tasks when you're listening to your favorite music, one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to get into groove of things with the music, or you're going to start to hate your favorite song. So that one, it's dealer's choice if you really want to try it. Again, those are the only two outcomes that you're going to find with that. If you listen to your favorite music while you do the tasks that you don't like, you're either going to be okay doing the task because you're using your favorite music, or you're just going to stop liking the music. So just be careful when you're doing that one for the first time. Then last tip I have for you today, this is going to be a shorter video. The last tip I have for you today is to visualize the completion. Now, why would we do this? Well, you want to take that boring, unpleasant task or that challenging task, and you want to think about how it's going to feel when it's done. So, an example that I would use is, let's say you have a big pile of leaves in your backyard and you want to rake them up, but you don't really feel like doing it. it's windy maybe those leaves are just going to go blow back into your yard, or you rake them up and an hour later they're just some dog's going to jump in them or some kid's going to jump in them, right? But if you can actually visualize yourself how it feels when you get those leaves raked up and maybe put into a bag and out on the curb rather than, maybe raking them up and then wait for them to blow around again before putting them into the bag. If you do this visualization technique, then you'll actually get a little tiny bit of the dopamine that you would actually get from actually completing the task itself. So it's a way to kind of trick your brain into thinking that, oh, it's boring, but it's going to feel good to get it done, right? So that's what you want to do when you visualize these. And you want to visualize it in as much detail as possible. You want to make it as real for your brain as possible. So, some people like to sit there and close their eyes. Some people can do this with their eyes open. Some people like to do this when they're laying down. I personally don't do it when I'm laying down because if I close my eyes and I'm laying down and I'm visualizing something, I tend to fall asleep. So if you're like me, you probably want to close your eyes and do visualizations when you're sitting up straight, sort of, back straight and eyes closed so that you're not in a sleeping position to, fall asleep. Because again, I have personally done that. So remember, visualization is a good tool. Just be sure not to fall asleep while doing it. And that's it for today's tips. If you found these tips helpful, give a like. Why don't you comment down below which tip you resonated with the most with you, like the 10-minute rule, the reward loop, or was it the visualization? And let's keep on keeping on.